what I tried to do was interview some athletes who were children of athletes themselves, because I was curious to see how they were raised. And a lot of them ended up, for instance, Brett Hull ended up playing the same sport as his father Bobby, which was hockey, but he wasn't pushed to hockey. Grant Hill's father Calvin was an NFL football star, but Grant ended up playing basketball. And what I got from them was they weren't really pushed either into the sport because their parents had done it. And in fact, they found, and now with their own kids, they were backing off even more because they had seen the pitfalls of going the other direction and they knew what had worked for them. One of my favorite lines in the book, it's why we closed with it, but Cliff Floyd, who, as we mentioned, had a situation where his mother, while very well-meaning, sort of pushed him to be great even when he wasn't really ready to be there or felt like he didn't want that kind of attention. And I asked Cliff what he was going to do with his own son. He has a young son now. At the time, the son was only a couple of years old, but you always want your son to be better than his father was. But I only want him to be the best that he can be. And I think that's really the point. I think what really got driven home and why we decided to close the book with the athletes talking about their own children is because we can sit here and speak about what you should or shouldn't do, and the athletes can speak about what worked for them. But what they're actually taking and implementing with their own kids, I think, will show you what is probably the right way to go in most circumstances, which is to listen to the kid as much as possible, to not force the child to a sport just because you played it, just because maybe you had success or maybe you didn't have the kind of success that you wanted to have and are living vicariously through your kid. And Jay Feely, again, the NFL kicker, he said one of his girls just wasn't good at anything. He exposed her to everything, and it wasn't anything. And then finally she found swimming, and he's like, she kind of likes it, and she's not bad at it, and and she seems to like going to the pool. And he says, you know what, we're going to go with that for now. And I think that's the kind of attitude, sort of this open-minded sort of attitude that the athletes all wanted us to get across. Leroy Horde played football for 10 years very physically, and he's had some physical problems after playing as a result of it. And what he didn't focus on the physical aspect as much as he said, not every kid is cut out to play football